we are in a moment that is nothing if not bewildering, right? That the number of things that seem off-kilter, counterintuitive, broken, deceptive, all of those parameters have been turned to 11. And I believe that's going to get worse. The LLM AGI issue is going to amplify the confusion.
Large language models, artificial general intelligence, for those who aren't keeping track of every single acronym that is being thrown at them all the time.
That is correct. But anyway, we have talked about the fact that one of the several disasters that is likely to come out of the LLM AGI era, that's large language model, artificial general intelligence, is human confusion. That the inability to know how authentic the thing that you're interacting with is, whether it's a person reporting what an LLM told them, or somebody who didn't even talk to an LLM, who's had their perspective altered by some intrusion into the online environment, is going to cause us at best to all become very cynical and not believe anything, which is a recipe for disaster. This is that era.
Yes.
Okay. So what we have argued up till now is that basically it would be great if there were some rules that you could apply that would at least do a substantial fraction of the heavy lifting of figuring out how to think in this era, right? That's really the label for this segment, how to think, right? And I can't tell you how to think, but I can tell you that we are making progress towards some things that are useful. In the context of artificial intelligence, we have given 2 rules that are useful. One of them is that you should take all of the things that you formerly assumed that are in some way affected by the existence of these large language models, and soon to be AGI if it's not here already, and you should go back to making no assumption, right? You don't have to change your assumption about what's true of the elements on the periodic table or the forces of nature or natural selection as it explains the existence and modification of creatures, because those things aren't affected by the AI. But what we believe about the facts of the present is going to be affected by this dramatically. And so the point is, things that you could safely assume a few years ago are no longer safe to assume. You have to be agnostic about them. And then to the extent that you want to take them back on as assumptions, you need to check them specifically, right? That's rule 1. Rule 2 is treat AGI itself like a new species, right? Like something arrived from somewhere else and you know nothing about it. This is important because as it happens, the way AGI seems to be showing up in the world or threatening to dawn, it is going to have access to the human API. That is the mechanism by which the human mind is contactable from the outside, human language, right? The LLMs are going to have access to human language because that's how they work. So instead of assuming that a statement by one of these entities is meaningful in the way that it would be if a person said this to you, you should be agnostic about what it means, about what's going on internally, because you don't have any mechanism for knowing how the thing thinks, and therefore treating it like a totally new species is the best you can do. Right? It's hard to do in practice, but it is the best you can do. Okay, so that's 2 prototype rules. Here's a realm, artificial intelligence. Here are 2 rules that you can apply straight out of the box that will make you better off than if you didn't have those rules, right? There may be other rules we should add to that list, but for the moment, we've got 2 rules and they constitute some sort of a baseline approach.